Ever wonder where the real mansions are hiding around St. Louis? Like the big, massive homes where you're like, what does someone even do to afford all that? I'm talking the neighborhoods where you'll drive by and suddenly you're rethinking your life choices. Like, should I have gone to law school? And why didn't I think of inventing ChatGPT? Today, we're counting down the top 10 most expensive suburbs around St. Louis, ranked by median sale price over the last 12 months. And let me tell you, some of these spots might shock you. Like, yeah, I knew it was a nice area, but I didn't think it was top 10. And there's one country club community on this list that some people from St. Louis haven't even heard of before. By the way, my name is Jacob. Welcome to the Living St. Louis channel, your inside source for all things St. Louis real estate. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Number 10, Glendale. Median sale price of $602,000. Now, if you're not familiar with Glendale, think of it like a miniature version of Webster Groves. Very similar neighborhoods and homes, it's just a smaller town. Right in between Kirkwood and Webster, Glendale is a municipality of its own. It's just kind of small. And it has some really nice neighborhoods. You'll see some of these very stately brick homes. You do see infill throughout where it's a tear down and someone goes in with a custom build home. But I really like the style of some of these older homes that have just been really nicely and tastefully updated. Glendale has some really cute homes, trees everywhere. It looks very similar to Kirkwood and Webster. And, everything is pretty close together. You don't tend to have huge backyards, but the neighborhoods are really, really cute. And I'm not gonna lie, it is not the cheapest part of town. So, your money doesn't go as far as in other places of St. Louis, but it just has a really nice aesthetic, very charming, very cute town. Now, we're about to go further out west to get to number 9, which is Defiance. Median sale price of $628,000. Now, Defiance feels way more country, way more rural, but high end. And it does feel kind of separated from, the other parts of St. Charles County, mostly because you have to drive down Route 94 and you drive through the August Busch Conservation Area, which is like 7,000 acres of conservation land. So it's kind of like a buffer between Defiance all the way out there and then, O'Fallon and Weldon Spring. You'll see a lot of very nice homes on acreage. So that's one thing you'll see out here. You can buy a bigger piece of land if you want 3, 5, 10, 20 acres. You can find that out here. So a lot of these homes, like very nice, very stately, but they're way more private and way more secluded because you have some of these neighborhoods that are just, tucked away, hidden behind the trees. And sometimes you wouldn't really know that it's there unless you knew to look for it. Now in Defiance, you do have a lot of these actual subdivisions like Old Colony, August Estates, and Markham Hills. But you also have a lot of really nice homes that kind of stand on their own off, one of the main roads or local highways going through Defiance. So you do have a lot that are not in an actual subdivision if that's something you prefer. All right, moving on to number 8, going back into St. Louis County, we have Olivet. Median sale price, $634,000. Now, the vibe here is, your pretty typical suburb right in the middle of St. Louis County, and you get access to the Ladue School District without the homes being as expensive as Ladue, which we're going to talk about later in this video because it's on this list. Now, the home styles here, on the lower end, you will see some of these mid-century ranches and older split levels in the 400s, 500s, 600s. And then you do see a lot of these newer built infill homes towards the south. So a lot of infill in this part of town, especially in these neighborhoods off of Old Bonham Road, that I would say tend to be, between the $1 and $2 million price range. Now in Olivet, you've got Olive Boulevard going right through the middle, which is great because there's ton of strip malls and shopping along Olive. Now, if you take it further west, that's going to take you to Creve Coeur, which has a bunch of commercial places, medical offices, office buildings, a lot of people that work in that area. And then if you go further east down Olive towards University City, it'll basically take you through this unofficial Chinatown of St. Louis, where you have a lot of Asian stores, supermarkets, and restaurants all along Olive Boulevard. Now, moving on to number 7, my GPS always says Des Perez, but this is Des Peres. Median sale price of $685,000. Now, the style of homes you'll see, you got a lot of, established, mature subdivisions. There's a couple of recently built neighborhoods off De Pere Road in the south. And then you will see a lot of infill where you've got some tear downs and someone's going in with like a massive new custom build in some of these neighborhoods off of Bope Road and Ballast Road. I mean, some of these places have some like huge houses going in. And then there are some really gorgeous ones that are surrounding Greenbrier Hills Country Club. What's great about De Pere, you have the West County Mall right there. It's got a Nordstrom, it's got a Macy's, and it's got a Jamba Juice, which is really all you need in your life. I actually worked at Jamba Juice for 2 years when I was in high school. I loved it. It was the perfect part-time job. You see a bunch of craziness happening in the food court when you work in the mall, so that was kind of fun. Made a lot of friends, got free smoothies, which when you're 17, that's it right there. Smoothies and friends, I was set. Anywho, so far we've been hanging out in the $600,000 club, but just wait. We're moving on and we're moving up. It's when we get into the top 3 that we really break that $1 million price range. So let's keep going. Depending on where in St. Louis you're from, this one might surprise you, might not. Number 6 is Sunset Hills. You're looking at a median sale price of $760,000. Now, this is the only town on this list that you might consider to be South County. I've kind of heard different opinions. Some people say this is absolutely South County, and I've heard other people say it's, not really South County, kind of in between South County and West County. That's up for interpretation. Now, let me tell you, the neighborhoods here that surround Tapawingo Golf Club, some of my favorites. I mean, the views up there are stunning because when you drive up, you're going up the hill and, you see the views, you see the golf course. Some of these homes just have incredible backyards, pools, overlooking the golf course, the Merrimack River. And then beyond that, you just kind of see, Fenton in the distance. There are some nice pockets of these custom built neighborhoods that you'll see being built right now. And aside from the Tapawingo community, you will see some really nice homes, especially off of Kennerly Road, West Watson, and Robin Road. The great thing about Sunset Hills is you've got very easy access to 270 and 44. Beautiful parks. I mean, Laumeier Sculpture Park is a really fun one to check out. They have some fun events throughout the year. And you've got Lindbergh Boulevard, which has all of your restaurants, groceries, drive-through kind of places along there. So you've got a lot of things within close reach in Sunset Hills. Now, we actually have a full list of 20 suburbs on our website. If you want to check out that article, that's going to be in the description, because this would be a pretty long video if I went over 20 suburbs. Moving on, we're in the top 5. Number 5 is going to be Clayton. Median sale price of $847,000. This is like really the business hub of St. Louis County. I mean, a lot of companies like law firms, commercial real estate, accounting firms, financial, a lot of big companies that have office space in Clayton. Now, you'll see a couple types of homes here. You'll see some of these very stunning historic mansions in neighborhoods like Carswald and Brentmore Park, which one of my favorite neighborhoods in St. Louis, let me tell you. You've also got some of these luxury high-rise condos at Maryland Walk, the Ritz-Carlton. And then you'll see some of these really nice recently built homes near downtown Clayton and in the Old Town part of Clayton. I mean, you really have this blend of old money and new money depending on where you go. I mean, you'll see those very classic, historic mansions. And then you'll see some of these, sleek, more contemporary style single family homes, some townhomes, and some condos under construction right now, actually. Clayton has some really great restaurants and steakhouses to go along with the fancy neighborhoods. It's got a lot going for it. Now, moving on to number 4 is St. Albans. Median sale price of $960,000. The vibe you'll see here is kind of secluded country club community just west of St. Louis County, so a little bit off the beaten path, but not in the middle of nowhere. This is the country club community I mentioned at the beginning of the video, where I've definitely heard from a lot of people in St. Louis that have been here their whole lives and never heard of it. It is a small community and it's, kind of far out there. So unless you have a reason to come out here, it's probably one you've never really been to or driven through. Now, the style of homes here, you see a lot of these very stately looking homes, lots of brick, stucco, and stone exteriors on the golf course or backing to woods, or some of my favorites are way up on the bluffs looking out over the Missouri River. Those up there are incredible. Those are the ones that are in the multi-million-dollar price range, but some of them, the views, hard to beat. Now, St. Albans all pretty much surrounds the Country Club of St. Albans. So it is that country club community. They have 2 championship golf courses here. And here's the thing with St. Albans, it does feel private and secluded, but it's not that far out there. You're like a 10-minute drive into Wildwood, like the main street area of Wildwood, where you got some shopping, some restaurants. And I would say you're probably a 45-minute drive from downtown St. Louis if traffic isn't that bad. By the way, if you're thinking about moving to one of these suburbs, whether you're a local or you're moving from out of state, if you want help with that buying or selling process, send us an email or a text or give us a phone call. My team and I are practicing realtors right here in St. Louis. Whatever your situation is, we'd love to help you with that move. That is what we're here for. All right. We're going to the top 3 now. This is where you're going to see a lot of these multi-million-dollar estates. Homes with indoor basketball courts, a pool that looks like a water park. And these are areas where some people definitely spend more on their landscaping than most people spend on their mortgage. Number 3 is where you will see some of the most expensive homes sell in St. Louis, even in the whole state of Missouri, if I'm being honest. That is Ladue. Ladue has a median sale price of over $1.3 million. This is a very old money part of town. This has been a rich part of St. Louis for a while. I'm talking elite country clubs, expensive private schools, and it is a very interconnected community. Ladue is small and everyone knows everyone. Now, that's true of basically all of St. Louis. It's a small city, but that is especially true in Ladue. Everyone knows each other. Their kids go to school together. They hang out at the same country clubs and social clubs. It is a very ritzy part of town. Now, the homes here, you will see a lot of everything. You've got these very Ladue estates from the early 1900s. You will see some of these contemporary masterpieces or some of these really cool renovated mid-century homes. And then you'll see plenty of your brand new 20,000 square foot estates. They're beautiful. Now, here's the thing, and probably the reason why Ladue is number 3, not number 1, is that you have a lot of range in the homes and the prices here. Like, not every house is $2 million and above. You will see some of these smaller homes, and some of them tend to be, more fixer-uppers in the 600s and 700s. And then you'll see a lot in the $1 to $3 million price range, and you will have options that go all the way up to $10+ million. If you look up Google Maps and you go to the satellite 3D, you'll have a lot of fun looking around Ladue. Some of my favorite homes are off of Warson Road, Litzinger Road, and Ladue Road. Gated driveway, some of them, hidden up in the hills or behind the trees so you can't really see them until you look at the satellite. But man, there are just some absolutely incredible homes here. I'm obsessed with them. I'm someone who's just chronically on Zillow looking at houses. I think that's why I did well in real estate, or just looking at Google Maps because I'm nosy. I want to see what they look like. I want to see the backyard, the inside. I want to see everything. So I'm going to show you some of that in this video. Hope you like it. Plus, Ladue is close to everything. Brentwood, downtown Clayton, Plaza Frontenac, but it has kind of that private feel, so it's, quieter but still feels exclusive. Now, number 2, just down the road from Ladue, is Town and Country. Median sale price of just under $1.5 million. By the way, let me ask you, if you had unlimited money, it was not a problem, where in St. Louis would you move to? Just comment down below. I'm personally curious. Maybe it's somewhere on this list. Maybe it's somewhere I didn't even mention in this video. Just let me know. Now, Town and Country has this very nice suburban feel with a little bit of that country charm, but you're not in the middle of nowhere. You're right in the middle of St. Louis County. I mean, back in the day, it used to feel way more country. You used to see way more of these big horse properties and the white fences throughout town, and you'll still see some of that. But these days, a lot more of the town has been developed and subdivided into neighborhoods with all of these massive homes that have been pretty recently built. So you'll see some really nice custom homes here. Overall, I would say a newer style than you'll see in Ladue. A lot more infill. You do see a couple of these horse properties, just not as many as there were originally. And the great thing here is that a lot of homes sit on usually 1 to 3 acres, depending on where you are. There are some really, really nice neighborhoods that stem off of Clayton Road, Topping Road, Conway, and South Mason. These are areas where you will see some really big houses, like massive. These are some hefty homes back in here. And then you also have this really cute little town square that is right at the corner of Clayton Road and Mason. So you've got this really cute town center. Some of it was, recently built a few years ago. And they've got this new restaurant there, Cleaver and Cocktail. That is probably one of my favorites just for a cute little date night spot. I highly recommend it. Okay, now before we get to number 1, I've got a little bit of a curveball. There's kind of an official number 1 and an unofficial number 1 on this list. So I'm going to first talk about the official number 1 that ranked the top of our list in the report I put on our website. And then we're going to talk about the unofficial number 1, which is more exciting to talk about. Official number 1 on this list is Frontenac. Frontenac has a median sale price of over $1.6 million. I mean, the vibe you'll see here, very high end, a lot of these recently built custom homes, lots of infill. So it looks pretty similar to Town and Country, and the style of homes here, again, pretty similar. I mean, they're also right next door to each other, so they're pretty comparable. A lot of these really big homes are on Clayton Road or some of the neighborhoods that stem off of Clayton Road, and a lot that you'll see if you drive down Geyer Road, a lot of these private neighborhoods that stem off of there. Cul-de-sacs, dead ends, it's a very private area. So that's one thing that our clients love about it. I mean, really, you'll see a lot of, some of these very classic brick homes. You'll see some more of these contemporary ones, French country, modern farmhouse. You have a lot of these very beautiful, recently built homes, and also a lot of renovated homes that have just been really well updated and maintained. And what I love about it, even the name sounds bougie, Frontenac. I live in Frontenac. Now, to match the vibe of the homes you have in Frontenac, we've also got some pretty upscale shopping at Plaza Frontenac. It is a luxury shopping mall right at the corner of Clayton Road and Lindbergh. I mean, it's got Saks Fifth Ave, it's got Neiman Marcus, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. And I mean, the mall is right next to a pretty new Lifetime Fitness. It is massive. I mean, it's just a very nice gym. The pool's great. They got a smoothie bar. They got all sorts of stuff up in there. And you got some very nice restaurants surrounding Plaza Frontenac too. Fleming's, 801 Local, Bricktops, Brio. I mean, the whole area, like the mall and the things surrounding the mall is just very Frontenac, very high end, very nice. Now, let's get to the part you really came here for. The unofficial number 1 on this list is Huntley. Yes, Huntley blows everyone out of the water with a median sale price of over $3.5 million. But here's the thing with Huntley, there were 5 home sales there in the last year. Now, the criteria I used to pull property data for these rankings was towns with at least 12 sales in the last 12 months. So Huntley falls a little bit short of that with a pretty small sample size. There aren't many homes that sell in Huntley because there aren't many homes in Huntley. It is a very small town. Like, blink and you'll miss it. It is tiny. The town of Huntley is basically a handful of neighborhoods, mostly located off Lindbergh Boulevard, some horses, some massive homes, and some very wealthy families that live there. I mean, you will find beautiful houses here. Everything in Huntley is stunning. The homes here are all on at least 2.5 acres of land, with some properties having 12 to 15 acres. Now, let me tell you, in one of the most expensive towns in Missouri and in the middle of St. Louis County, 12 to 15 acres, that's a lot of land. These neighborhoods are stunning. You've got Squires Lane, Radnor Road, Huntley Woods. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, love me some of the houses in Huntley Woods. I'm obsessed. So Huntley is definitely small, but man, it packs a punch as far as property values. Now, some other of these small but expensive towns that I ranked separately from, the top 10 I talked about today: Country Life Acres, Westwood, Josephville, and Crystal Lake Park. These are technically towns of their own. They just don't have many homes that sell there because they're pretty small areas. But the ones that do are typically high up in price. So, what we'll say Frontenac is number one based on the criteria I used for the study. But Huntley, on the other hand, Huntley is the number one in our hearts. Always will be. Again, if you're even thinking about moving to one of these amazing towns in St. Louis and you want some help, holler at us. We'd love to be your go-to real estate people. I know this video is about the most expensive towns, but we work with every budget. $100,000 or $1 million plus. I mean, we are here for you whenever you're ready. So reach out if you'd like to work together. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video on the Living St. Louis channel. Take care.